Hello, everyone, and welcome to as you can see, a little bit of a makeshift kind of streaming tutorial that we're going to do today. This is a new kind of video that I'm doing for my friends at Eclipse and Draco Ideas Editorials because they are very good friends of mine. I love them dearly. And they have a really cool war game called Onus Traianus that's going to come on to Kickstarter very soon. And I haven't really played war games in my life. Disclaimer, if you hear anything, that's my dog who's actually playing around for a bit. He's kind of active, so apologies. Anyway, we're going to have a 1 hour gameplay of Onus Traianus, so you can see how it plays. This is going to last for about 1 hour. Give or take, no more than that. But by all means, if you have any questions at all about how the game plays, or if it's something that we haven't explained properly, please let us know, because we'd love to hear from you. And I'm just going to show you what Onus Traianus looks like in this virtual tabletop wonderful thing that we're using to show you, because this is super duper glorious. So, guys, why don't you introduce yourselves and tell everyone who you are, Mr. Quinto, Cato, and Brookster,
yeah. So I'm Buster Len. I'm going to be playing with you, and I am a collaborator of Draco Ideas and Eclipse Editorial. And I am going to be using the Roman army today against your Parthian army. And let's see how it goes. I'm hoping luck is with me today.
Well, I hope it won't be, for very obvious reasons. Not that I'm competitive. Not that I'm competitive. I'm not competitive.
Okay.
Yes,
I noticed. I've noticed.
Okay, so tell us a little bit. What exactly can we see? I mean, we can see the battle map,
yes,
and some cards on top of it. So what can we see?
So right now, what we have here on the table, this is the battlefield. This would be a standard battlefield. What we have is both armies, one of each side. Okay, in your case, in your side, we have the Parthian army with a bunch of units, some cavalry, some foot units, and the same thing for me. In my case, I'll be using the Roman army with a few auxiliary units. So I'm using cards of two different armies in the game, but since they're all part of the Roman Empire, they can be easily combined, so it's not a problem. And each side is going to each of the armies is going to start on one side. Usually, we would play a little bit closer to the edge of the table, but in this case, to make things a little quicker, we've gone a little bit closer to make sure that the action starts soon and we start seeing blood very early in the game.
Okay, good. I like the idea of blood very much, because come on, you invaders have come to my land and you just want to mess with us. No, not going to happen. So tell me, how do I kick your ass?
Okay, so well, you have many different options, as you will see when we play. So the game is going to be played in turns. Each of us, we're going to do a full turn sequence with different things. We're going to do range attacks, different maneuvers in the movement, and charge against the other enemies, although while trying to avoid for units to break and flee the battlefield, in which case, if that happens, they will be considered as losses and casualties and will be lost for your army. And in this case, what we're going to be playing is a death by general game, so we're going to try to eliminate the other player's general. There are different victory conditions in the game, but in this case, we're going to use that one. So your goal in the game is to kill Traianus, which is my general. And in my case, it would be, forgive me if I say it wrong, Mebarsapis, the Parthian emperor.
Who is, I have to say, incredibly handsome.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm the person playing that character, so it is a very handsome character. Okay,
very objective opinion.
Absolutely, yes. I don't have a bias here, like at all. Okay, so I have at the moment I'm showing everyone Mebarsapis' card. So why don't you tell me a little bit, what can I see? What is that 10% that I can see on the top right?
So the generals are obviously special units. They are not, actually, they're not exactly units. They're going to be included within the units and as part of your army. The percentage number that you see on the right top section is the army value increase that that general is going to bring.
Okay.
So, for example, in the case of Mebarza piece, let me check. You have a 10% cost, which means that if, for example, we were playing for 1,000 points armies, you would only have 900 points available for your units, since 10% would be spent on your general.
Okay.
In my case, in the case of Traianus, it's 30%, meaning that I would only have 700 points left to build my army.
Okay, fair enough. Now, I can see that Mebarza piece has a +0/+0 to attack, but Traianus doesn't. Why?
Why? Okay, so obviously Mebarza piece, as you can see in the second value, which is the defense bonus, all of these numbers are modifiers to the different values of the unit where the general is going to be located. Underneath that, we have a special ability of the general. But as answering your question, in your case, you have very good defense. Mebarza piece is good defending. It's going to reinforce the defense of your unit. Whereas Traianus is a little bit more balanced and is going to add a little bit of attack and a little bit of defense, but not as much in either value.
Okay, the little flag, which Traianus has a +2, and I so happen to have only a +1. What is that?
Okay, this is the morale bonus that the general brings to the unit where they're in. So Mebarza piece raises the morale, but not as much as having Traianus as part of your unit.
Well, I mean, I give you this. Traianus is a lot more stylish. I mean, that purple tunic is kind of, like very... He's got panache.
Indeed.
Okay.
So, the number next to it, if you want to, let me continue with the attributes here.
Yep.
So the number next to the flag, the one with like a general head or a helmet within a target, let's say, that's the area of influence of the general, meaning that any units within that area of influence is going to receive a +1 bonus to morale. So aside from the bonus that the general gives to the unit they're in, anyone who is close to the general is going to also get a little benefit to their morale if they're within that area of influence. Okay, and finally we have the leadership value, which is going to be used as the limit of cards that you can have in your hand. Okay, in this case 7, and it's also going to be used for different roles during the game, for example, to see who is going to start playing and other things that we will look at later on.
Perfecto. Are the same values and the same kind of things in the cards? Because I can see the cards, they have range, but they have something slightly different. So, for example, now that I'm looking at the Parthian swordmen, which there seem to be an awful lot of them, and they're worth 40 points.
Yes. So they're not a very valuable unit in the sense that they're light infantry. It's not that they're not valuable, it's more that they are light. Okay. So it's a very numerous unit, but they're not maybe the most powerful. Okay. That's why the cost isn't that high. Usually heavier units have higher costs. Like, for example, your cataphracts, your camel cataphracts here have a value of 200, which is very high. But you have a little bit of everything. So in the case of the Parthian swordman, first we have that number, which is the value. The next number with the sword, it's going to be the melee attack values, which are going to be used. The first number to hit against the dodge value of the defender. And the second number is going to be to damage, which would be to penetrate the armor of the defender. Okay. Then we have the range values, the range attack values. In the case of the Parthian swordmen, as the name implies, they're not a ranged unit. So they have 0 here, but units that have a value there could attack in range with the whatever modifier they have here, and the number in parentheses would be the range of the unit. But we'll look at that later on in further detail. Then the shield, this is the armor and dodge values. First, the dodge value, which is going to go against the first value against the first roll, because for combat we're going to roll twice. First to hit and then to damage. So the first defense value will be the first number to hit, and it would be the dodge value of the unit. And then we would see the armor value of the unit, which would be to prevent the wounds themselves, to prevent receiving damage once the attack has hit.
Okay.
Then we have the morale value, which is going to be used during the game to check morale. And if you lose a morale check, your unit is going to break. They're going to fall into disarray. And if you fail a second time, they're actually going to flee the battlefield and try to run away because they're very scared.
Okay, fair enough. Poor things.
Yeah, poor things. Then we have the health value, which is the number next to the heart. And this is going to be the total number of wounds that unit can receive before they're eliminated. An eliminated unit, it's removed from the game and it's completely obliterated. They're all dead, so no one left. As opposed to fleeing units, which might have consequences in campaign games and other more long range type of gameplay. Okay, and last but not least, so with the two little feet here, the number 2, this is the movement value of the card. This is going to be the maximum number of distance units that this unit is going to be able to move during the movement phase. In this case, the value is 2. That would be the standard movement, meaning that they could move up to 10 centimeters, which is 2 distance units. Each distance unit, it's 5 centimeters. Okay. And
so it's fairly simple. I mean, there isn't really an awful lot to have to think about regarding the abilities and what we're looking into for each unit. And I presume that all the units are going to have similar values.
Yes.
Okay.
So essentially, the numeric values are going to be the same in all units. Some might have range attack, some might not. And of course, the numbers themselves are going to change. And there's also one more thing that might be of interest, which are these little icons that some of the units have, not the swordmen specifically, but your Sogdian mountain men or your horse archers or many other of your units have, which are the abilities of that special kind of unit, which might be benefits for different types of terrains, if you have the fortress and terrains expansion, or maybe different abilities that they can do during combat or as defense or formations they can take. Many different things, many different little things that the units can have. But as you've seen, the values and the game itself, it's actually very simple. It's very deep in gameplay. The way it's played, the strategy is deep, but the system itself, it's light and not that complex to make entering the game easier. This is what we call a gateway war game in a sense, because it's has all the flavor of a miniatures war game, but it's in a very simplified manner as to make it very easy to access, very accessible for new players or people who are not that much into heavy play. But again, if you do like that kind of game, you can really go very, very deep into the strategy of the game.
There's one thing that's worrying me at the moment, though, and is that we've been going for about 13 minutes now, and you are not bleeding yet. And that is kind of, I'm getting worried about that.
Absolutely.
I need to hurt you, so how do we do
this? Of course. Let's fix that, and let's put an end to that problem. So, to start a game, what we would do is we would roll the dice and we would add the leadership value of the generals. Whoever has the higher roll with the leadership value included would be first to play. So in my case, I have a 7 leadership. I roll the die, I get a 2, so I've rolled a 9.
And I've rolled a 4, and my leadership is going to be 6. So
6. So you get a total of 10, which is higher than mine. And therefore, you start your turn.
Okay, so to start my turn, viewers, listeners, we have this absolutely fantastic card in here, which is a turn sequence. And it means that first thing I'm going to do is going to activate my units. Now, I can see, though, that you have a number of cards that I don't have.
Oh, my apologies. At the start of the game, all players receive as many cards as their leadership value, meaning that you would have to draw 6 cards.
Okay.
And those are the cards that you're going to use to both activate your units and to play events during the combat.
So I'm going to take 6 cards. So 1, 2,
fantastic,
3, 4, and 5, and 6. Was I 6? Yes, I am 6. And I start flipping them. Needless to say, in a normal game, these cards would not be visible by your enemy. These you keep secret, correct?
Absolutely. Yes, correct.
Okay, in this case, because I know that I'm going to beat you anyway, because I am so good at this. I don't think I
Yes.
And
It's good to see your comment.
exactly. So we're doing this just for people to take a look at. It doesn't matter. Now the card is divided in two halves. The top half is what I can do in the activation phase, if that's correct.
Exactly.
And the second
Absolutely.
is the reaction. It's that I can take, but that comes later on. So
Yes, they call the events, and they're going to be played during the combat, and they're going to modify combat in different ways.
okay, so for my activation phase, I have several choices. I have six, in fact. One of them is I can activate one unit. That's rubbish. I can activate as many units as general leadership. That sounds very good. Thank you.
Yep.
Then I can activate all mounted units. Okay, that's not bad. I can activate 2 units. That's rubbish. 1 unit again. That's rubbish. And half of my units rounding down. Why would I want to do that? So what I'm going to do, I can play as many cards as I want. Correct?
As many activation cards as you want, both to activate units. In this case, we only have activation effects, but there are also some different effects like killing units, etc., which you could also play as many as you want during this phase.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I have 4, 7, 11 units, and I'm just going to activate this, which is as many units as my general's leadership, which is 6.
Very nice.
So,
okay. So to do that, you have to place activation tokens, activation markers on all the units you want to activate this turn.
And I discard that card, correct?
Yes, you discard a card and you take the markers, you place them on the units, and those are the units they're going to be able to move, attack, etc. during the turn.
Okay, so I know that you've mentioned before that these, the swordmen are kind of like not very valuable, and they're kind of hurt. They're very hurt, so they're going to try and prove their worth. They're going to prove their worth. They're going to go, backed by the Sojourn Mountain Men. Let's go for the skirmishers, because why not?
Nice.
The horse skirmishers. These are the cataphracts. Just because they're very difficult to spell, they're going to go into battle, so hopefully they will.
Very nice. Yeah, they're very hard. That's a very good unit to move. They're very tough.
Right, and now I'm going to go also for the noble horse archers, because they look very versatile.
They are.
There are more cataphracts. And come on, the Indian elephants, because come on, we have elephants.
Yes, you have to.
Come on, I want to see what they do. Okay, so that's the activation phase. Do we do the activation phase simultaneously, or first I do my
full turn?
Okay.
You do your full turn, and then I play my full turn.
Okay, so that's me. Now, as I am showing people, the turn sequence goes is movement. So I'm going to move the units that I have activated.
Nice.
For that, I have this very handy ruler, which I'm going to come a little bit closer. And if I can remember, how do you rotate it? Okay, like this.
Yes, there you go.
Okay,
Mouse wheel.
Now, to move this, you put them on the edge.
Exactly.
Like so. And then I can move these 2 units. So I can move them 10 centimeters. So I can do 1 and 2.
Perfect.
But they're not close enough to attack anyone because they don't have any range attacks.
Exactly.
Useless. Okay, so if I wanted to do a full attack, a ranged attack, I cannot move my 3. I would have to move half. So 1.5.
Exactly.
So let's assume that I'm going to do it because, this is a game just for kicks.
Absolutely, yeah.
So 1.5.
Very nice.
Now that means I have a range of 2 for my ranged attack, correct?
Exactly. That's correct.
I put my ruler here, and that tells me if I reach anything, and I don't.
Exactly.
So they are useless to do it.
Yes, this turn they are.
Okay, so now I have my little horsemen here, the skirmishers, and I move these
Yes. You can move through friendly units with no problem. If either of the units was broken, it would break the other one. Since that's not the case, you can move freely through the other unit with absolutely no consequences for you.
Okay, so now I don't think I'm going to be able to reach anyone. Oh, I might. Let's see. So
That's the
1,
first unit.
2, 3, and okay, come on, Paco. All this 1, 2, 3. No, I don't get to hurt you. I don't get to hurt you, but I'm close enough. Okay.
Yeah.
And now,
one little detail, since this unit is a skirmisher, they could do a range attack after moving their full value because they're a skirmisher unit. So this is going to be tough for me.
Okay, well, I am not going to apologize for that. For obvious reasons. So now we have these little ones here, which I'm going to move in that direction because they are diagonal. If I wanted to rotate them so they could be facing a different angle, that would count as a movement, correct?
Yes, exactly. You would have to do the movement from one of the corners, rotating from one of the front corners of the card, and you can rotate up to 90 degrees, and that would cost 1 movement point for the unit.
Okay, so let's assume that I'm going to do 1, 2, and 3.
Perfect.
And another 3 because I have 6.
It's going to come very close of my Carabalista.
1, 2, and 3. My dog is barking. Okay, and then we have the heffalumps.
Yep.
Which surprisingly fast for elephants. Mind you, elephants are quicker than people think.
Yeah, that's it. They actually run pretty fast when they want.
Yeah, and when they do, they're really unstoppable. Okay,
yes.
So 1, 2, 3.
And as such, they are in the game.
And 4. Now, that should scare you.
Indeed, it does.
Okay, so I have done my activation and I have done my movement. So now we would go into our ranged attacks, correct?
Exactly. Now it's the turn of range attacks. So in this case, you would check any units that are within range. And for example, like this one that we did before, now we know it won't reach because we already measured it. But usually you would announce the target, then measure the range and see if it's within range. If it's not, you lose the attack. You cannot change targets. Okay. And if that happens, then you roll the die and finish the attack.
Okay.
For example, in the case of this one, it's certain you can do the range attack. So let's go and take a look at that.
Okay. So in order to do the range attack, I have a 3 range. So definitely I'm going to,
you're certainly within range of my unit.
I'm going to kill your cataphracti.
Yes. And as we're seeing here, you measure from the central point of the front of your card and all the way to the nearest point of the enemy card. Okay? In this case, since you are at 1.1 distance units away from me, that's lower than half of your attack range, meaning that you're going to attack with 4 dice instead of the 2 that you would use if it was in a long range, meaning higher than that half of your range.
Okay, so I'm going to take me dice, and I'm going to destroy you. I mean, I'm going to...
Yeah, you can try. You can try. These people are hard too. So in this case, we're going to face the ranged value, which you have a 3, and that's going to be the value you have to both hit my unit against my dodge value and to penetrate the armor against my armor value. Yep. So you need to exceed the value, my dodge or my armor value, meaning that you need to roll the die and add the attack and get a higher number than 6 for this first step, which is the hit roll, meaning that you will need 4 or higher on the dice to actually hit my unit.
Easy peasy.
I would believe so.
Let's find out. So there you go. 2 of them. So before we roll this, we have event cards. So I could, if the unit is fleeing, they are not fleeing. Organized and motivated. Get +1/+1 to defense and +2 to morale in this melee. We are not in melee.
No.
Organized and melee. We are not in melee. Melee. We are not in melee. Request support. Both attackers and defender receive unexpected help in combat. Oh! Both sides get 2 dice to hit. I don't think I want to give you 2 dice.
Well, it's okay because that would be beneficial for you because I am not going to roll hit since it's a range attack.
Okay.
So it might be a good way to increase your dice pool against me without giving me the benefit that you would otherwise give me in another circumstance.
Okay, in that case, I'm going to use that. So I'm going to get 2 more dice to hit, and I'm going to discard this card.
Very good.
Here. Okay.
So in that case, I believe that no, I am not going to play anything because I actually don't have a card that I can play to.
Oh no! I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I'm sure you're so sad.
Okay, so I rolled earlier just so people know that I'm not a cheat. I rolled earlier 4 of the 4 dice. I need to roll another 2. These and these are 1s, so I'm going to re-roll those 2. Do that and select that, and there you go. Oh my God!
Oh wow!
That's a shame. Listeners, made a mistake in there. The card that I wanted to play, the event that I wanted to play, has been pointed at me that because the 2 icons at the bottom right, defense and sword, it means that this is for a melee round, not a ranged attack. So that means that I wouldn't be able to use it because I am attacking with my bows and arrows. So I'm not going to use any event card this round. And that means I only have 2 hits.
Exactly.
So I would re-roll these 2 dice.
Absolutely. And you would need again for actually now you need a higher roll because my armor value is 8 instead of 6. So you needed a 4s before, now you need 6, which is always a hit. It's always a damage, whatever the case, because it's a critical hit.
Yep.
So if you roll 6s, that would be enough, and I would get up to 2 wounds with my cataphractari.
Okay. Behold how I screw up.
Oh, 6, but in 1 die. Not
that's not that ain't gonna cut it.
Not good enough.
Okay. Well, they weren't having a really good day, so that's fine. Now we would go for the next, which is these.
So after the range phase,
yep.
The skirmishers phase.
Now the noble horse archers, are these skirmishers?
No, the horse skirmishers are. And I think, let me check. That's the only one of your active units that it's a skirmisher. Yes, that is correct.
Okay, so that's it. I cannot do anything else.
Yes, exactly. As a general rule, in the skirmisher phase, if you had any movement points left with your skirmishers, which is not the case, you could use that movement and maybe retreat a little bit or whatever. Not charging, but any other movement you're capable of doing. Since that's not the case, since you don't have any movement left, then we would not do anything in this round, in this phase.
Okay, makes sense. Fine. So I cannot do anything else because I don't have skirmishers. I am not close enough to go into melee. I am not going to fly because come on. So end of turn.
Exactly. So now that the end of turn has come, you would replenish cards in your hand, drawing 1 card if you played at least 1 order card, as was the case. So you draw 1 action card from the deck.
Okay, so I do that.
And after that, it's my turn. So I would start with the activation phase, just like you did. And I believe I'm going to play exactly the same card, mobilization, meaning that I can activate as many units as my leadership value of the general, which is in my case 7. So I'm going to mobilize all my people here in the front section. I'm also going to activate the general, my Carabalistae, which are probably going to get away from you because they're definitely not hard enough to withstand the charge of those people. My Cors Cirorum that will stop that other unit charging against my Carabalistae. And that makes 2, 3, 5. And finally, my 2 horsemen, my cavalries here at the left of my deployment area. And this would be my 7 activations.
I don't like when you
Okay.
do that sort of thing.
I know. That's what I hoped. Okay, so after that, I'm going to go into my movement phase, and let's see what options do I have. So first, with my Catrafactari right here, which can move up to 5, I'm going to do I'm actually going to do a maneuver. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to charge with the Catrafactari against your horse skirmishers, because I don't want them shooting on my troops like they did. So I'm going to charge here. So I'm going to reach your unit. Since they are not perfectly lined up, I'm going to line up the sections to make sure that the lines match and the sections are squared. So right now, my Catrafactari are going to be fighting you in the 2 sections.
Okay.
Since I have 2 free sections, I can envelop your unit, which is, of course, what I'm going to do, meaning that I'm going to place 2 enveloping tokens here to attack from those flanks, which is going to give me a little bit of a bonus during the attack and against your morale.
Okay.
Okay, that's the Catrafactari. Then my legionaries are going to move. They're going to do reduced movement, and they're going to move 1. They're going to come here.
That's 2.
And I'm going to do a range attack with them when the time comes against your Parthian swordmen. I want to prove my point that they're not that strong.
Okay.
So then with my Praetorian Guard, I'm going to move as well. And in this case, I'm going to move the 2 distance units available for them. Okay, so what my next movement is going to be my Praetorian Guard. I'm going to make my general come get your units. They're very tough people, and they are not afraid of your Parthian weaklings. So they're going to charge over there. Then I'm going to move my Carabalistae, and I'm going to move them backwards, doing a maneuver, which is a free movement. Okay, so next I'm going to withdraw my Carabalista a little bit because I don't want them to be the target of your charge here. So I'm going to move them 1.5. Right there. Actually, that would be here, no? See,
Correct.
that's it.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. So since they're overlapping, I have to move my Corps Sirorum, which are bowmen, and I need to move them as well. I'm going to do a free movement, which is a maneuver, meaning that I can only move half of their value, which is 1 distance unit. So I'm going to move them over here and make sure that they don't overlap. And I'm going to rain hell over you with both my ranged units here.
Bah.
Then next, we're going to go with my horsemen here. And I'm going to start with my Contari, which are these guys here. And I'm going to try to charge against your horsemen over there. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate this unit, doing my standard movement. So I will need to rotate them from one of the corners. And this is going to cost me 1 movement point. And I'm going to put them over there. And now, hopefully, with my 4 remaining movement points, I can reach your unit.
3, yeah, I think you're going to reach it.
I believe I can.
Yep.
And charge against you. Yes, that is perfect. And I'm actually reaching you from the flank. Okay, so since the units are not lined up, as we explained before, we would have to rotate this unit until they're perfectly matched. This rotation to line up the units is free, so that is very good for me, and it would be like this, lining up the lines as explained before. Sorry, the angle of my camera is not great.
Sure.
There we go. Vale. So now I again have 3 sections that I can use to envelop your unit. And of course, I am going to do that because that gives me extra dice for the attack and a little bit of bonus for attacking from the rear. And yeah, I'm going to attack from the front as well. So there we go. And we have a charge over there from the flank and a little bit of impact from the rear. Finally, I'm going to do my craziest movement, which is attacking your elephants with my Praetorian Cavalry. These are my strongest mounted units, so hopefully they're able to, I don't know, maybe scare them. I don't know.
We'll see.
You never lose hope.
We'll see.
So we move 3 over here. Actually, I would move a little bit farther back because I want to rotate and charge from the flank. I would do as I've done before. I move 2.5. I can move up to 5. Excuse me, I grabbed the wrong piece. Now I'm going to rotate a little bit, which is 3.5 movement points in total. And I believe that is enough to reach your unit here.
Okay.
And this is actually very good. There we go. There's 2 lateral sections. So there we are. Okay. So that would be it. And this is very nice because I can envelop you from the rear with a few of my dice, with a few of my sections, which might be my only hope to actually defeat your elephants, or at least damage them in any way.
Up to you. I mean, remember what you're doing, and that I am not going to show any mercy later on.
Okay. I'm counting on it. Okay, so okay, that would be it for my movement phase. I've done a lot of stuff, and now it's time for my ranged attacks. So in this case, I could I do an attack. I'm going to go from right to left. I'm going to start with my legionaries. My legionaries have spears that they can throw up to 2 distance units away. So hopefully that is enough to reach your swordmen. So my apologies. I thought I could attack in range with my legionaries but I forgot that I did a full movement. I moved 2 units instead of 1. So I cannot do a range attack with them. No problems because I have other options. My Praetorian Guard has the same issue, but the Caravalistae and my Corps Silorum could definitely do a range attack. But I didn't count on this, right? Since I've charged against you, they're in melee combat, and units in melee combats cannot be attacked in range. So I actually saved you myself from these range attacks. What you're not going to be saved of or from is my charges, which is the next phase. Actually, first we would do the skirmishers phase. I don't have skirmishers, so I don't do anything here. And then we would go to the melee. And now this is something that nobody can save. So, starting with my cataphractari, we're going to resolve this attack. So, first of all, my cataphractari have the special ability to lunge, meaning that they can attack and they have a benefit during the charge action. They have the lunge ability, but since they are riders, they're mounted. It's a mounted unit as well. I cannot use it. What I can use is my spear ability, my spearman ability, that gives me +1 attack against mounted units. Since I'm also attacking from the flank, I get another +1 for my attack, meaning that I'm going to attack with an attack value of 6 and 7 against the armor, which is very high and very nice for me.
I'm not happy about that.
Yeah, I can imagine. See, play first has its advantages, but also it has its harmful parts to it. Okay, so I'm going to roll 4 dice, as many dice as the number of sections that are engaged, which is 2 on the front and 2 on the flanks. And I need to roll actually 2 or higher. Anything other than, let me check, because I have 4 attack. Yes, +2, it's 6 against your 6. I need 2 or higher in my dice to damage, to hit to your skirmishers. So let's see what happened with the dice.
Oh my
Wow,
God.
that was really close, but enough to do what I wanted. So I'm fine. So all my attacks have actually not yet. Okay, so since all 4 of my dice have hit, I will roll all of them again, this time against his armor, which is 4. It's a little bit lower than his dodge value. And with my second value, which is a 5, which is a little bit higher than my attack. In any case, I need 2s, just like before, because I won. It's always an automatic fail. So I'm going to roll again, and all 4 of them hit, meaning that he's going to get 4 wounds.
Ouch.
So let's place a 3 and a 1 wound markers on the unit. In any case, I did 6. My apologies, I got the wrong one. In any case, the attack is simultaneous, so this is not going to affect you until the end of the turn. Okay, because you would get penalties for having more than 3 wound markers, but not in this case, since we're still on the simultaneous battle. So now it's your turn to counterattack, and you're going to use your attack value of 3 against my armor value of 6, meaning that you need 3 or higher to hit.
Okay. And I'm going to use the 4 dice, correct?
4.
You use exactly the same as
Or
I did.
more.
Okay.
You need 4 or higher to impact.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. First go.
Okay.
Just the one.
Well. One
Just
is
one.
coming in. One is coming in. Not bad.
Well, hopefully. And he's not going.
And not enough. Not enough, because actually my armor value is 8, so you needed 6s to damage, so it's not the case. So in this case, fortunately, my Cavalry are safe. They actually did a very nice charge, and they avoided the damage afterwards.
You know why this is happening, don't you?
Why?
It's Thursday, and we're all tired after a very long week of working. And, my poor horsemen, they're just exhausted. That's why.
I understand that.
Were we playing on Monday, you'd have no chance.
Okay, so let's take a look at the second charge here.
Moral check.
Morale check. Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Luis. You're absolutely right. Since my unit won the combat and the horse skirmishers of the Parthian army received more wounds, they need to do a morale check. The morale check is done with the flag value and discounting the number of wounds received, in this case 4, which is a -4 penalty. So you have to roll a lower value than the morale value, which is 7.
So I need to roll under 4.
Hay que restar 4 de heridas, una por flanco y otra por terror.
Okay. So my apologies. There's 2 more penalizers, 2 more penalties here. There's another penalty because you are being flanked by my unit, and also the Cavalry cause fear, which is this icon, this moon icon here, and that means that you get an additional -1 morale. So essentially, you're going to need 1s if you want to. You need to roll a 1 if you want to avoid your unit being broken.
Okay, which means that they're going to flee, screaming like babies.
Yes.
So
they will first break and then flee, but...
Oh my God, look at that. They are awesome. Booyah, they are absolutely awesome. No, they stand their ground. They are adults.
That's a tough unit. Okay, my respect.
We're gonna die rather than to fly.
Yeah. So now it's the charge of my contrary against your noble horse archers. They're noble men, so that means they're going to be a tough unit. But my contrary is also a very tough unit, so hopefully that will balance things out. So in this case, I'm attacking from the flank. I also have 1 unit enveloping from the rear and 1 unit enveloping from the front, meaning that it's going to be a 4 dice attack. Once again, my unit are spearmen, meaning that I'm going to get a +1 to my attack. And that would be it, plus the bonifiers, plus the bonuses from the attack angle. So let's bring the die here to have everything nearby and see everything clearly. So in this case, I have a 4 attack value against your 6 defense, and I have +2 from the rear and +1 from the flank, meaning that I get +3. So once again, I need 2 or higher to hit.
This would be the perfect time to actually show people what it looks like when you roll 4 ones.
Yeah, that would be great, wouldn't it?
You missed.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Let me see if I can separate these two. That's what we call a drunken die here in Spain. Okay, so in this case, all 4 dice again were successful. So I'm going to roll to check my the damages. Again, the armor value is a little lower. So once again, 2s or higher are good for me. But they are not as good as the previous unit. So only 3 damages have been done.
Only says.
Yeah. Could be better. Okay, so now it's the turn of your archers to reply, just as before. You roll 4 dice, and
so let me bring my dice.
Exactly the same process that we did with the skirmishers.
Okay, so let me go.
Oh, my apologies, I'm stealing your dice. I just wanted to get mine out of the way.
Okay, so I take these 4 dice and I press R, and come on, people, wish me luck. Chan. Oh, okay, not bad.
Yeah, I think the 5 might be enough.
Okay.
You have a 4 attack value. Oh, and you're a professional. Your units are professionals, meaning that you can re-roll your once per roll. So you can re-roll this 1 here.
Okay, so let's do.
And hopefully would be have more luck.
Okay.
Let me check. So normally you would need 3 or higher.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you have these 3. These 3 are good.
So, 1 and 2.
And exactly. And in fact, now you need 2 or higher because your penetration value, your second attack value, it's higher than your first. So 2 or higher, you're good to damage my units.
Okay, I love the idea of having a penetrating unit. So.
Okay.
I'm pathetic. Okay, 2 of them. Okay, 2 is fine. Oh, 1.
You can re-roll the 1. Yes,
okay,
don't forget.
I like the idea.
So you're actually pretty safe. Looks looking good for you.
Boom.
Yep. So okay, my unit actually crashed hard against yours, and we both got 3 damage.
Okay, well.
So.
And now we both check morale because we've hurt each other.
Exactly. So since we both received the same amount of damage, we're both going to roll morale with the penalty of 3 in both cases.
Is it the time when we say, "Oh, can we just sit down and talk about it, not fight?"
Yeah. Why can't we be friends? Okay, so let me start. So I'm the active player.
Mm-hmm.
I need to roll a 4 or lower to avoid my unit to break. And that was very close, but enough.
Okay. Whereas I would need to roll 8 minus 3, 5 minus 2, 3. So I need to roll 3 or lower.
Exactly.
So I'm going to roll with this, which is my lucky die.
Okay.
I think. And no. Okay.
No luck.
I start to cry because one of the horses broken a leg.
Yeah. So the broken unit means that you're going to have penalties for morale and defense in later turns from the combat. And if you fail a second morale check, they would start fleeing and running away from the battlefield, as we explained before.
Okay, fair enough.
But not yet. So that will be the end of this fight. And then we go for the final one, the Praetorian, the heavy hitters here, the Praetorian Cavalry against the Indian elephants. So this is going to be quite epic because they're both very, very heavy units. Obviously, the elephants are a little heavier than the Praetorian Cavalry, but the Praetorian Cavalry are very good soldiers, so I'm counting on their skills. So, as before, I'm attacking from the flank and the rear, and once again, we're talking about 4 dice, and I charge, and I have +3 to my attack, meaning that against your 7 value of armor, I'm going to need 2 or higher, if I'm not wrong, because I have +3, +1 from the charge, meaning that I have 8, so I need 2s or higher to hit. And my units are professionals, which is good for me because I could re-roll any one. So it's a pretty safe attack right now. Okay, so I can re-roll this one. And okay, good enough. So all 4 dice are successful. And now I'm going to roll to damage, and exactly the same. I need 2s or higher, and all good this time. Actually, yeah, very nice. This is a deadly unit. It's not only very tough, it's a deadly unit, meaning that the 6s, the critical hits, are going to count double for damage.
Ow.
So instead of 4, you're going to get 5 wonderful damage points that I'm very, very grateful for.
That's an animal cruelty there. I'm going to PETA. This is poor things. Okay.
Okay, and now it's time for payback, and the elephants are going to do the roll. They have 5 attack, which is very high against my 7, meaning the unit 3s or higher, because we're not counting the penalties yet.
Okay, on the 1, on the 2, on the 3. Eat that.
All of them. Very nice. So once again, you roll both, and in fact, now you're good with 2s or higher because my armor value is a little bit lower. So 2s or higher, you're good, and you damage my unit.
Okay, here we go. Oh my God, that was. But I can't reroll the ones, right? No,
not this one. This is the units are very tough, but not professional. So you cannot reroll once, meaning that I do get 2 wounds, which is not great, but it could be worse.
Yeah, amateurs. See, that's what happens when you get amateurs elephant riders. So you have got the professionals.
Exactly. Their first time in the battlefield. So now to end, we will do the morale check.
Yep.
And I believe the Indian elephants will be the only ones rolling the dice since they lost the battle, since they lost the combat.
So
1.
So in this case, you need once again, because you have 5 penalty minus the rear and flanks penalties. So only once are good for you.
Okay, so the 1 and the 2 and the 3 and
yes, that broken unit.
Yep, no, it's broken.
Okay, so this is actually a very fun situation. Not yet, because they're still only broken. But if elephants flee the battlefield, fleeing units of elephants are going to be actually really, really dangerous, because they're going to start running back, and any units they cross through, be friendly or enemy, they're going to be broken as well. And I'm not sure, I believe they will receive some damage or some penalties. So fleeing elephants will run back and will trample any units, friendly or foe, that they meet in the way. And that unit is going to receive a charge with no comeback. So they're going to receive a free attack with no events from the elephants, just from them trampling them over. So not yet, since they're not fleeing yet, but just so you know, they're also dangerous in case they're fleeing, not just when they're fighting.
See, I really shame on you. You've just heard Dumbo. That's
I know. It's Dumbo's dad, but what can you do? War is war.
Fair enough.
Okay. So that would be the end of my melee phase, and then I would go into my end of the turn phase. Since I played a card, I would draw 1 card for my hand, and that would be the end of my turn.
Okay, we have, we're cutting here a little bit, beloved viewers, because otherwise it's going to get really long and we don't want that. So we played a few rounds off camera as well. And this is why you're going to see that the battlefield is different from what was before you saw my face on camera. And this is how it all ends.
Exactly.
Okay, so explain to us, what are we seeing?
Okay, so this is going to be probably the end of the battle. What we have here, it's my general, it's in the Praetorian Guard unit. As we mentioned before, the victory conditions in this game is going to be killing the general, and you are almost certainly going to be able to do it with this charge that you did with the shocked cataphracts. You flanked me with the charge itself. You also attack him from the rear, and not only that, but your unit is deadly, meaning that 6s are going to count double. They're professionals, and they also have the ability to lunge, which means that you're going to have attack priority and you're going to hit before my attack. So in this case, it's not going to be a simultaneous melee combat. You're going to attack first, and if I survive, then my unit would reply. So, but before we start the battle, we're going to play events. I don't know if you want to play any events.
I don't even know what I have at the moment. So let's take a look.
Okay.
So I can activate all my units. That'll do nicely. You can activate all units within your general area. Oh, that's fine. And
remember that the events is the blue section of the cards, just as a reminder. So you want to take that.
Okay. So I'm going to attack you with this. Now, event cards. I can play an event card, and I have a very cool event card in here.
Okay.
That allows you to reroll a hit or damage roll after seeing the result. Use the result of the second roll. That means that if I miss one, I could reroll it, and hopefully the second roll would be better.
Things are looking pretty bleak for Traianus right now, I have to say. But I also have an event that I want to play, and I'm going to throw my javelins. My Praetorian Guard unit, as you know, has javelins, and I'm going to use them using this event, meaning that I'm going to throw my javelins right before you charge against me.
Oh.
I'm going to roll 4 dice because it's a short-range attack. It's rather unlikely that it's going to be very painful, but, you know, I have to at least try to die killing. So
I don't mean to be offensive, but I can smell your desperation from here.
I can get that. There is a little bit of that going on. So yeah, makes sense. Okay, so with my javelins, I'm going to roll 4 dice. I have a 3. I have a range value of 3 against your armor of 6, which is pretty tough, with 2 penalties just from the wounds. But I have a +1 from my general, so I'm only getting -1. And actually, I do believe I'm also getting a -1 from the flanks, so it's a -2, meaning that I need 5 or 6 to actually do anything with my dice. So it's rather unlikely. But let's try.
There you go. You have one.
Okay. I'll take it. Yes, and absolutely. My units are professional, so I can reroll the one as well.
Okay,
so hopefully.
Oh my God!
Oh, very nice. Very good thing. So once again, I roll for damage and nothing because I actually have very high armor, and I would have needed 6s, which are not 2s, and so no wounds for you.
I'm so sorry. Not really.
But I had to try.
No, fair enough. You're well within your rights. That's absolutely fine.
Yep.
Okay. And now it is my turn to destroy. To attack you. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. So
you said it about the first time. No offense.
Okay. So I roll with 5 on 5, which is quite a lot against your 5. So.
Exactly. But not only that, but your unit is also lunging because it's mounted unit charging against a foot unit.
Yep.
So you're going to get an additional +1 and also attack priority, as we explained before, meaning that you're going to attack first before I can reply to your attack.
Okay. So I don't need to roll very high. Let's face it.
No, in fact, 2s or higher are enough to hit because I have 5 armor, so 5 dodge, which is very low. With all your bonuses, that's more than enough.
Okay, well, so let's go for it. Okay.
Okay, they're professionals, so you can re-roll your ones.
So 1 here, select it and re-roll them. Boom.
Okay, well, that's nice that you're getting another one over there.
But I don't re-roll that though, do I?
No. You already re-roll once, only once per professional.
Okay, but no, I hit you 3 times, so that's three slaps. I can live with that.
Yeah, still enough.
Oh, wait a second! But wait a second. I was rolling my event. My event.
Yes, absolutely.
Is a roll, so I can really hit or a damage.
Yep. So you can re-roll one of the dice here now.
So
you can reroll once for your
Yep.
professional's ability, and
Yep.
then you can still use your event and reroll one of the dice.
So I'm going to roll the 1 because I'm a pro. And I don't
more
need,
than enough.
Yeah, I don't need to reroll anything else. I'm good.
No. In fact, I get 3 wounds from your attack. I only have 7 health points, and I have 9 damages in total, meaning that you killed the Praetorian Guard, killed Traianus. Poor guy.
I am. I would say I am sorry, but the fact is that I am.
But you're really not. I
No.
wouldn't have believed you even if you said it. So. Okay. So yes. So since my general is death, you win the game. Very epic victory for the Parthian army. It was a very close fight, but in the end, I lost. So we'll have to take a rematch at some point.
I would love that. I would definitely love that. But this is kind of the people's victory. At the end of the day, you were an invader and you have been thoroughly kicked out. Now, before we go, one thing that we haven't touched on is one of these cards that we can see here on the left as I looked at the screen, which are more characters. I have Tagmar and Scathag and Discibolus.
Right. These are the generals of the other armies included in the game. Traianus includes a total of 6 different armies, as well as some mercenary units. And these are the generals that you can use if you use any of those armies. In this case, since we use the Parthians and the Romans, we got from these decks. But there are also other options, like Hadrian or Laberius Maximus or Lucius Quietus in the case of the Romans, or maybe Osroes in the case of the Parthians. Also, and Sanatruces, yes, Sanatruces, I believe would be said in English. And also, if you're using mercenary units, you could have used a mercenary general as well. But since we use the straight armies, we use the generals coming from those armies.
That sounds pretty cool. And also something that I am not seeing here that I was seeing the last time I played, and is that there are some terrain tiles. So you could change what the battlefield looks like to make it slightly difficult with rivers and lagoons and what have you.
Absolutely, yes. That's with the Terrains and Fortresses expansion, which is not included with the base game, but people would be able to acquire during the Kickstarter campaign. And yes, that's going to bring different types of settings and terrains like mountains or wooden walls, trenches, caltrops, and different elements that we're going to be able to throw into the battlefield to make the games a little bit more exciting with different effects, like maybe blocking the charges, maybe doing damage if they step on the caltrops, giving movement penalties if you go through forests and mountains, etc., 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 which is going to bring a little bit more of thematic flavor into the game. And it's also going to be very helpful to set the scenarios, because sometimes you're going to be fighting in castles and fortresses and all that sort of thing. So it's going to be very useful to create those environments.
That I do love the sound of, because even though the game as it is presents an awful lot of depth and with all the generals and everything, but the fact that you can change the battlefield itself and it isn't always just flat, I think that is absolutely brilliant. I really, really love that. Guys, thank you so much for this. This has been really good fun.
My pleasure. It's been great losing to you in this case, but fun in any case.
Don't worry, I'll let you win another day. I'll be fun.
Okay, thank you. My ego would need it. My pride would need it. Okay, thank you very much. It was great playing with you.
Himmels, thank you very much indeed for being there. It's truly and genuinely appreciated. Please do take a look at the game. This is seriously very, very good fun, and this comes from somebody who's not a war gamer, and I have enjoyed this. This is the second time I play the game, and I have enjoyed it immensely, and I can see this being one of those games that you can just set up and spend the whole day just playing it for great deal of fun. Let me know what you think. I would really love to hear your comments. So until the next time, thank you very much indeed for having been there. It is truly appreciated. And game on.